What is the Santa Claus? Chocolate collection. It is giving to others. That is. To all the devotees who are watching this program live from around the world, and many of them have already sent me many messages that they are missing being here and celebrating this festival in the immediate presence of all their brothers and sisters in Satyasai Grama. I want to convey that we also miss you all very much and hope sooner than later, all these times will change and all of you can be here, you can come here and be with all of us, and we can celebrate all the days and all the evenings together here at Satyasai Grama. To all of them, a very happy and holy Christmas. Much has been spoken about the life of Jesus, the teachings of Jesus, the history of Jesus and the origins of Christianity by the speakers who spoke just before, right from Obina, who spoke about Jesus' life and how he has been inspired and how he finds that in Swami's teachings. David gave a very deep and very profound interpretation of the Lord's Prayer and totally a different way of looking at it. I'm sure many repeat this prayer thrice a day, but then very few understand its very essence, which Dr. David brought out so beautifully. And for those who have a heart to listen, they will understand what he spoke. Our Narasimhamurti said that all spirituality is same across the world, where the emphasis is on the supreme law of oneness of all creation. Just as Jesus said, be alike to everyone, all are one. Just a simple message, all are one, is the essence of all Upanishads, all Vedanta, and if you deeply go down, of all religions. So when did this all are one become many? When did this message get, in a way, distorted and created the many out of the one that all the masters were teaching? That is when the individual mind, individual ego overtook the heart. That's why when we see many times pictures of Jesus, we see a heart here and he points towards it. And what is he always saying, always telling us? Listen to your heart, listen to your heart. Because head is not going to help you understand spirituality. Head creates factions, head creates differences, divisions. Heart is the one that unites everybody. Listen to your heart. That's why he points it towards his heart, the sacred heart as it is called. And that is where the divine resides. Look at Narayan Suktam. It also tells the same thing, that divinity resides over here. Neela, I don't remember, Mikocha. Neela to yadda madhyastha dvidyulekheva bhaswara nivara shuka vattanvi pitabha satyanupama. It says like a spark, that divinity is inside here. In a lotus-shaped heart, not the physical heart, the spiritual heart as we call the space, the sacred space. That is the sacred heart that Jesus always pointed towards. They listen to this, that which is here, which speaks to us in silence. Unfortunately, many people celebrated his birth, celebrated his name, celebrated his form, celebrated his death also. But very few celebrated his teachings by following them. And that's where the problem started. If only we can go beyond the names and forms and look at the essence that permeates all the forms and names, we would know the truth. And that is the truth that shall set us free. When Jesus says, abide in my teachings, only then you will be my true disciples. And then you will know the truth, and that truth will set you free. This is the truth that he talked about, that we are one. Where? Not externally. Internally we are one. As divine we are one. In divinity we are one. And that is the message of Jesus. And that is the reason why cross is the representation of Jesus' teachings. Because the cross is eye which has been cut across, as the boy said. And this individual consciousness is given up. Dehabhimana, that is when Daivabhimana comes. And what did happen to Jesus? Jesus is a master. He's celebrated. He is worshipped not because the way he was born in a manger and 3 kings came from 3 different directions and proclaimed that he is the Son of God. And the angels came, and then how he grew up. This is not the reason why. Not even the reason that he went about teaching, preaching so many people about this great truth of oneness. But he is celebrated because the way he died. In death also, he was one with his divinity. He did not die a sad death, complaining, crying, calling people names, calling it injustice, unfairness, but he accepted it all as God's will, surrendered to the divine, and ultimately said, "Forgive them, for they know not what they're doing." He sought forgiveness for even those who had done wrong to him. And ultimately, on the cross, when he gave up his body, he became one with that divine spirit that he always talked about. And that is the reason why he is celebrated. That is the reason why he is worshipped. Because in the most difficult circumstances, he never deviated from his thought that we are one with our divinity. And that's why he could proclaim, "I and my Father are one." You can imagine those times when an ordinary man who goes all the way, a carpenter's son, who goes all the way to say that I am the messenger of God, then I am the Son of God. As if that was not enough, he says, "I and my Father are one." And you can imagine the amount of controversy and the amount of hue and cry that the public would have raised. Of course, they took him all the way to the crucifixion and they killed him. That is a different story. But he had the courage to speak the truth. He didn't back out. He didn't hide the truth just for the sake of saving himself. He stood up and spoke the truth boldly. Satyam vada, dharmam chara. He spoke the truth and he followed that dharma, which he believed is the truth. There are many stories, there are many things about Jesus. There are things that one believes in, one does not believe in. But beyond all that, one thing is there for sure, that he stood for the truth that all are one and all are divine. And because of that realization, he could forgive everyone, he could love everyone, he could serve everyone. And that is precisely what Sanatana Dharma talks about. You have to know yourself first before you try to know others. And that is the reason why I asked Dr. David to speak a little bit about how Christianity or the teachings of Jesus versus Sanatana Dharma versus how this is all originated from the early religions of Israel, how this all happened. And he did a lot of research to bring about this. So if those who are happy with this speech, they don't have to give me the credit, but if you're not happy, don't blame him alone. Truth is that the religion was becoming only a set of dogmas, set of blind practices, and the priests were considered as the holy and the noble, and only God could be met through them and not through anybody else. The same thing happened in every religion. Even now it happens. Why should I spare our temples for that matter? And that is when Jesus was just a 13-year-old boy. He came to the festival there, and he saw that outside the temple everybody's made it a marketplace. They're selling things, buy things, making merry. It's like a mela, like a jatre. And everybody has forgotten about the divinity. That darshan is for a second, and the rest of the time they're busy socializing, having a good time. And he got very upset, and he took a whip and whipped all the shopkeepers there. Look at the courage of Jesus. Just 12, 13 years old. Took a whip and started whipping all the shopkeepers, saying, "You made a marketplace out of my father's home." And the high priest came, "Who is this boy so audacious?" And they tried to suppress him, and he said, and they asked him, "Who are you to even say things like that?" And that is when he said, He's the Son of God. He's my father. This is my father's home. You can't make a marketplace out of it. He could tell this off to the high priests. That is when his parents thought, it's better we keep this fellow hidden, because if he's going around in open talking things like this, nobody will spare us. That is when he took leave of his parents and walked and walked and walked long distance in search of truth, just like Buddha did. And he came all the way to the east and to the Himalayas to learn this great truth, which he always knew in his heart. But there was nobody around him who thought the same way. That's why he came all the way. He met a lot of sages, saints, seers. And there was no Hinduism there, so don't paint it that way. There was Sanatana Dharma, where everybody believed in the great truth. Ekam Sat Vipra Bhavda Vadante. There is only one truth spoken by different people in different ways. And that is when he absorbed this truth, he understood the idea, went back and taught this truth to everyone boldly, without any fear. Though he lived a short life, shortened by the egos of the kings who felt unsafe in his presence, ultimately left behind a great legacy of his teachings. It's up to us to understand the depths of his teachings and not just make him a celebrity master, not at all force people to believe him or to believe in certain ways, but rather encourage people to dive deep into the meanings of his teachings. When he says all are one, let us try to put some effort to understand what that truly means. What is that heart that he talks about? What is that heart that feels that oneness for everyone and loves everyone, sacrifices for all, forgives all, accepts all, and punishes none? What is that experience which Jesus stood for? That is what our effort should be. To celebrate Christmas is to celebrate the teachings of Jesus, is to celebrate by practicing his teachings, is to celebrate by experiencing the meaning of those Jesus' messages. And therefore I urge all the devotees around the world, while you cut the cakes and throw chocolates around and put on the Santa Claus dress and decorate the Christmas tree and also sing carols, all that is fine. But that is not what Jesus would want if he was here. He wouldn't tell that I'm happy that your Christmas tree is taller than theirs. I'm happier because you put more gifts on the tree than the neighbors. But he would definitely be happy if we have put some effort to practice his teachings. Let his sacrifice, let his life, let his message not go waste in these superficial celebrations, but let us delve deep into his teachings, absorb it, understand it, and become one with those teachings. That is when we truly celebrate Christmas. That is the true spirit of Christmas. May the whole world understand this, become one in that divinity that Jesus stood for. May we celebrate Christmas year after year in a way that would be dear to Jesus, which is to practice his message. Again, to all the devotees around the world, we convey on behalf of all the people over here a very holy Christmas, happy Christmas, and a Christmas that will open a new chapter in all our lives to help practice his teachings and realize the truth. Times are tough. World is going through various difficulties. The poor are becoming poorer, and also unfortunately rich are becoming richer. I don't know how that happens in a pandemic, but it does happen. And it is time to practice Jesus' teaching even at that level, when we have to open our hearts, open our homes, open our hands to serve those who have suffered through these tough times. And I'm sure that is the first step in practicing his teachings. Share what we have with those who do not have. Care for those who need our help and support at this point in time. Don't be afraid of what will happen to you if you share, if you give away, if you do charity, if you help others. Don't be afraid. For the Lord God that we talk about, He knows. He knows what is needed for us, and He shall provide at the right time. I am the bread of life. Whoever believes in me never goes hungry, will never know thirst, says Jesus. So believe in that divinity, and let us not hide our daily bread in our cupboards, but open those cupboards and share it with those who are hungry. And God, who is our daily bread, He will provide for our needs. And that is true faith in Jesus. That is true practice of His message in these pandemic times. May you all benefit. May you all practice. May you all realize the truth. May you all become free. With these words of blessings, I close the discourse. Once again, very happy and holy Christmas to all, and blessings to everyone.